And we welcome you to this broadcast of CCSJ Women's Volleyball here on the JEDTV Sports Network. I'm Kyle Mathas. It's the Calumet College of St. Joseph Crimson Wave opening up their season at home against St. Xavier. The Cougars coming to town from Chicago. Like I said, I'm Kyle Mathas, and we welcome you to the broadcast as they continue to announce the starting lineups here in Whiting, Indiana. We will go through those starting lineups ourselves, and we'll start here with St. Xavier, who start as the libero. Taylor Van, number 10, the sophomore from Oklahoma City, will start along with Ivana Martinez, the fifth-year senior from Coamo, Puerto Rico. Then for the middle blocker, Delaney Panozzo will get the start, the redshirt sophomore from Grant Park, Illinois. And Nicole Grochola will finish things out as a senior from Burbank gets the start. Carrington Smith, number 22, also gets the start, the sophomore from Flossmoor, Illinois. Jenny Jensen, the senior from Orland Park, Illinois, gets the start as well. And then the defensive specialist is Samantha Hovey, the senior from Mackinac, will get the start for St. Xavier. Coming into this game 1-4 on the season. They just lost their last game on the road against Viterbo, 3-1, a 4-set game. Even though St. Xavier actually won the first set, they actually ended up losing the next three and lost to the number 12 team, ranked right now nationally in the country. And then for Calumet College of St. Joseph, coming into this game 1-7, this is the starting lineup for the Crimson Wave. Starting out will be number 1, Peyton Van Domelen, the junior from Highland, Indiana, and the transfer from South Suburban College. Number 5, Essence Keel, also gets the start today, the junior from Maryville, also a transfer from Olive Harvey College. Number 13, Crystal Lopez, also gets the start. She is a junior from Chicago. Number 15, Berta Camino will get the start as well. She plays in that outside hitting position. The junior from Galicia, Spain, the only international player on the roster for the Crimson Wave. Number 21, Markeisha Pritchett, also gets the start. Pritchett is a junior from Gary, Indiana, has had a very good season so far. Up along the net, 7 blocks, 9 kills, 13.5 points right now. And then finishing things out for the Crimson Wave is number 27, Regina Carrito, the freshman from Honolulu, Hawaii, coming across the ocean to the mainland here to play in Northwest Indiana for the Crimson Wave. We're ready to get started here. Last game, Calumet College of St. Joseph lost to Mount Mary 3-1. They're 1-7 right now on the season, but they got a win earlier on in the season. They were 0-23 last season. They lost both games heading into this against St. Xavier, and actually both of them in sweeps. But that win that they had earlier on in the season was actually their first win of the season, or their first win for 2 years. So they're off to a good start here. Coach Emilier de Jesus actually talked about his transfers that he's brought in. This team only had 6 players last season, the Crimson Wave. They've brought that total up to 16. It was 18 earlier on in the season, but a couple players couldn't make it to college this season, so it dropped down by 2 to 16. So here we go. Time to get this game started. Both of these teams looking for a big win right now. Both of them haven't had the starts to the season that they would have wanted. And here we go. St. Xavier in the white, CCSJ in the gray, and here we go. Essence Keel keeps this up to the far side, blocked down, and there's a great start for Carrington Smith, right up on the net with a block. That's her 6th block of the season, the sophomore from Flossmoor. Serving for the Cougars right now, looks like it's Delaney Panozzo. Send it over. Good setup. They'll set it over, and CCSJ keeps it alive. These rallies will be long, but there's a spike there from Jenny Jensen, the senior, the transfer from Cardinal Stritch. A couple transfers on this team for the Cougars, and 34th kill of the season for Jensen. That one's long on the serve and out of play. Samantha Hovey, was actually the one serving. So 2-1. Melina Haynes will be the server for the Crimson Wave. Kept up. They'll go to the right side. My goodness, when you have that height, it's hard to block. Delaney Pinozzo. A spike from the right side. It's 3-1. Head coach for St. Xavier, Bob Hiersema, two-time CCAC Coach of the Year, career record of 804 and 655. His 37th season at the helm of the Cougars. That one is a violation on the net, point to the Cougars. Hiersema has had a very good time with the Cougars. He's the third amongst active NAIA coaches in wins, current active coaches in the country. Serving here will be Ariel Hoskin. This is kept up and spiked down, kept alive by the Cougars. And a mistake at the net, a rare mistake there from Smith, who got a kill earlier, but records an error there, 19th of the season. And it's 4-2. Peyton Van Domelen sends this one over to the other side. Kept alive by the Crimson Wave. And there's a block at the net by Smith on the attempt from Van Domelen from the back row. So now we're going to see Smith serving now. 9 aces this season. She plays at the net usually, but she'll serve it, and that one goes long. Like I said, the last game in La Crosse, Wisconsin for St. Xavier, a loss to Viterbo, 12th in the country. They won the first set. All the rest of the sets were blowouts. There's a keep alive, a dig there by CCSJ. Crystal Lopez got there. They send it over, and there's a beautiful kill by Kaylee Bourne. The junior from Plainfield, nearing 20 kills on the season. That's her 19th. If you're just joining us, CCSJ Women's Volleyball here on JEDTV. Kyle Mathas on the call here in Whiting. That one just long, and actually they're going to say it deflected off of a fingertip there. I think Nicole Grochola got a fingertip on their point. Crimson Wave. Serve from Markeisha Pritchett. An awkward set there. And a tip, beautiful play. Berta Camino, who Coach De Jesus had great things to say about when talking to him before the season about her. He was not afraid to say that she definitely carried this team last season when they only had 6 players. Was a huge player last year for this team. To the back row. And that one just on the line by Van Domelen. St. Xavier caught standing around the campfire. No one went for it. And we're all knotted at 6 here in this first set. Set up, and that's really hard to keep up, but they somehow do. Unbelievable by Pritchett. That one's long by Kaylee Bourne, and the point goes to the Crimson Wave. Unbelievable dig by Pritchett. She'll feel that one tomorrow. She took that right off the face, but they get the point and they have the lead, the Crimson Wave. Essence Keel tries to dig that one up and cannot. Point to the Cougars. This has been a lopsided series between these two teams. St. Xavier, for the last 23 years, 27-1 all-time over the CCSJ. Crimson Wave just getting the win a couple years ago, their first ever against St. Xavier in volleyball. Van Domelen Sends that one right to a perfect side of the court. Nothing in that instance that number 24, Ivana Martinez, could possibly do to keep that alive. Crystal Lopez to serve. 3 aces this season. Goes short with that, and that's her 4th ace. Grochola did not expect that to be that short and close to the net. That one's going to be long. Well, it's been a lopsided series, but CCSJ made history a few years ago. A thrilling 5-set win on the road in Chicago. First ever against St. Xavier by the Crimson Wave in women's volleyball. A 5-set thriller, and in that 5th set, CCSJ won 16-14, but that is a hospital ball. They're going to say it's a net violation on Carrington Smith, so the point to the Crimson Wave. I think she hit the net on that. That's why they're calling it to the Crimson Wave. Berta Carmino to serve. Beautifully tapped down by Van Domelin. 11-8 CCSJ. What a start. Crimson Wave had a tough loss against Mount Mary. 3-1. What a game for Camino. 20 kills in that game, by the way. Again, goes straight over to the Crimson Wave. That one just in. It's Van Domelin again. She's dominating. De Jesus talked about, as we get a timeout called by Coach Hiersema. We'll take a break. Crimson Wave starting the game strong. We welcome you back here to Whiting, Indiana. What a start for the Crimson Wave. 12-8 lead over St. Xavier, a team that has dominated this series for as long as anybody can remember, at least 20 years. 27-1, but CCSJ has started this game significantly well. There's a great kill. Finally, they get something to go near the net. That's Opilka. Excuse me, that was actually Hovey. I apologize. So Hovey with the kill. De Jesus talked about how much he recruited on the collegiate level. He got transfers from different colleges to get that experience, and Essence Kiel has trouble keeping that up. Seems like that timeout might have worked for Hiersema, because that's 2 unanswered for the Cougars. That one's long on the serve by Hovey, and it's 13-10. Last season, St. Xavier sweeping CCSJ in both games played. Runners-up in the CCAC tournament, and lost in the first round of the NAIA National Tournament. Oh, what a keep up, but cannot be kept up enough. That's actually going to be Carrington Smith. What a beautiful spike. And it's always dangerous when they get close to the net. Set it up, and then Smith is right there to hit it quickly. Doesn't give the opposing team enough time to react. Beautiful serve, but a dig by Kiel. And then a block at the net by CCSJ on the attempt by Bourne. A couple in there for the Crimson Wave. Pritchett was in there, and so was Van Domelin. That one goes off the net but stays alive. That's a beautiful spike again by Pinozo, who I'm sure we'll hear a lot of tonight. It's unbelievable to see what De Jesus has done with this program for women's volleyball. They have at least 7 to 8 substitutes over there on the sideline, CCSJ, as there's a service ace by Ariel Hoskin. Timeout CCSJ. We'll get more into that in a minute, and we'll take a break. A tight first set, kind of what we expected tonight between the Cougars and the Crimson Wave. 14-13 lead for the Crimson Wave in the first set here. Kyle Mathas on the JEDTV Sports Network. Home opener for the Crimson Wave after their initial home opener got canceled. Tipped up nicely there by Pritchett. Kept alive by the Cougars, but a mistake by Bourne. Crimson Wave have done a good job defending that left side. Keel with the serve. A dig by the Crimson Wave. Kept alive, though. Another dig by Van Domelen. There's a nice dig, though, by the Cougars right back at him. We've got a good rally going here. Van Domelen. Oh, what another great dig. Unbelievable by Panozzo to keep that one alive and send it back. Camino tried to tip it up softly, but Panozzo makes a nice play and gets a deserved rest. Like I was saying before the break, at least 7 to 8 substitutes for CCSJ over on the sideline. Last season, Coach DeJesus informed me that they had no substitutes. Their one team, their 6 players had to play the entire game with no rest. Nice spike, though, by Bourne, finally getting something to go on that left side, the side that the Crimson Wave have. I don't think it's any doubt to say that they've dominated on that side so far, but we're all tied up at 15. Essence Keel makes a mistake. So Opilka with her 6th service ace of the season. And the lead for the Cougars at 16-15. Keel lets that one go with the help of her teammates shouting at her. DeJesus liked that. He likes the way his team looks right now. He knows that they have the potential to be a good team. They know they're in the rebuilding process, but he sees a lot of growth from this team from last season. Blocked on the spike attempt by Bourne. Another block. This time it was Carrito. CCSJ can attack now. That's a beautiful spike. Camino. What a first set so far. If this is any indication as to how this game will go for the remainder, it's shaping up to be a good one here. Weakly tapped over, but the Crimson Wave keep it alive. Van Domelen goes too long on the spike. Couple substitutions for the Crimson Wave and the Cougars. Both coaches trying to play a little game of chess here and see what's working. Taylor Van, the sophomore from OKC, will serve it away. Short on the serve. Her 9th service error of the season. There's Lopez again. Kept alive nicely by Martinez to the far side, and it's spiked down with authority by Grochola. We just keep on going back and forth here. 203 team kills heading into this game for the Cougars, 170 for the Crimson Wave this season. They've been pretty even, statistically at least. There's the spike kept alive. They get an extra touch because it was a block initially. Camino with a beautiful play. Martinez keeps it alive. What a dig. Kept alive by Keel. Van Domelen. Martinez can't get to it. In all of that chaos, the point and the lead goes back to CCSJ. Some of these rallies have been pretty crazy so far in this game. Here's Camino again to serve. That might have been out if it was left, but they didn't want to risk it, the Cougars. Kept alive. Not quite. Van could not keep it alive, and it's a 2-point lead for the Crimson Wave. And CCSJ had to play some tough opponents at the beginning of this season, and Coach De Jesus said that it helped them get a feel for collegiate volleyball. A lot of them are freshmen. That one's long, and De Jesus really animated over on the sideline. He knows how important this first set is. Timeout, Cougars again. We'll take a break. Crimson Wave 4 points away from taking this first set against St. Xavier. Welcome you back here to Whiting, Indiana, 21-18. CCSJ in the lead in the first set. St. Xavier, if you're just joining us and didn't hear it earlier, they swept CCSJ in both meetings last season. CCSJ leads the set by 3. They're at 21. They need 4 more points, and there's a service error by Camino. The timeouts for Hirsema have been pretty good, because CCSJ's always been on a run, but Beersema's called the timeouts, and it's ended up leading to some mistakes by the Crimson Wave and some rallies and some runs by the Cougars. Get them back in this game. Keel with the dig. Far side for Van Domelen. Blocked. Van Domelen gets a second effort, and that awkwardly goes off the net, but it'll be point Crimson Wave. Smith was there to block, and so was Jensen, 2 of the tallest players on the team. And Crimson Wave get a favorable bounce right there. Haynes to send it away, and another service error by the Crimson Wave. That's back-to-back. .74 service errors coming into the game for CCSJ. A mistake by Camino, a rare one at that, and that's an ace there. Another ace for Hoskin. Timeout. De Jesus will take another break. 22-21 CCSJ. This first set coming down to the wire. 1-7 for the Crimson Wave. 1-4 for the Cougars. A service error by Hoskin after a service ace. Once again, the timeouts getting into the heads of these players, and I mean, it's been consistent. Whenever De Jesus has called a timeout, Cougars have made a mistake. Whenever Hirsema has called the timeout, they've made a mistake, as there's another error. Obviously, the exhaustion of this first set getting to these two teams, 23-22. Here's Smith on the serve. Now the Crimson Wave can set up, and that's a wonderful tap up, but they keep it alive. Van Domelen. What a dig. Cannot keep it alive. That's a great play there by Pritchett. It's set point. Set point for the Crimson Wave, trying to take a 1-0 lead. We're going to get a substitution here for the Crimson Wave. Crystal Lopez exits. Arali Aguirre, the junior from Chicago Heights. That's going to be long on the serve. Immediately, we're going to see Lopez come right back into the game. 24-23. And it looks like it's going to be number 8, Abby Opilka, to serve here. Played in every game as a freshman. Was second on the team that year in assists. Keel keeps it up. Martinez keeps it alive, but the Crimson Wave get it done and win the first set. They did not win a set last year against the Cougars, and they've won the opening set here, 25-23. We'll take a break with the Crimson Wave leading 1-0 over the Cougars.